Action.
Good video. Good.
Thank you, Addie.
It's a Christmas movie. We're close.
Okay. I remember that
Hold on,
day.
Lauren's gonna tell her story.
Oh. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. I remember that day I woke up a little bit earlier than normal because I had an exam in my Spanish class and I wanted to do some last minute studying. And like a lot of my stories have been, this was last year when I was living in Spain and I was like living with a family and nannying their kids. So I did my studying, and then at 7:30, like always, I woke up the kids and we had the morning craziness of brushing teeth, eating breakfast, getting dressed, all those things with 3 little kids. And like always, we were running late because we were always running late. And we finally got outside and we're kind of walking to school. And with 3 kids, every time we went outside, it was always hard because I have 2 hands and there's 3 kids. So there'd be one holding the other kid's hand. And they were 7, 4, and 2 years old at this time. So pretty young to be like out in the streets, and it was kind of a busy street. But eventually we got to right in front of their school, there was this like walkway, which was kind of just like a really big sidewalk where there weren't any cars anymore. So at that point, I would let the oldest girl hold the youngest's hand, and then I would hold the middle child's hand. And we were playing like a little bit of a game where me and the middle child would run a little bit and then we'd stop. And then they would come up and they would tag us. And then we would run and stop and they would tag us. And everyone was laughing, it was a great time, and it was also making us walk faster, so I was happy about that because the bell was about to ring. And this was like literally right in front of their school, like we could see it at this point. And then me and the middle child ran one more time and stopped, but then they didn't tag us, so then I turned around and I watched the youngest trip and face plant into the pavement, which is not that like rare of an occurrence with kids. I mean, if you've ever worked with kids or been around them, it's especially like 2 or 3 years old, they fall all the time. So normally I just like pick him up and I'm like, oh, you're okay, like it's fine, nothing happened, and we keep going and it's fine. So I did that and I was like, oh, it's okay, don't worry. And we keep going a little bit, and then blood, a drop of blood like falls onto the pavement. And it's like as soon as that drop hits, he starts screaming like at the top of his lungs like I've never heard before, and more blood, like floodgates opening up, just comes pouring and pouring out. And at this point, like I'm freaking out. I throw down my backpack and I'm like looking for like anything, like a tissue or a napkin or a receipt, like to help and like stop this, but I didn't have anything. And so he's just screaming, he's not even letting me like touch him, he's like scrambling around. And luckily there were other parents on their way to school as well, so a lot of them stopped and were trying to help me, and one mom even took the other 2 kids and like walked them to their class to get there on time. And they were handing me wipes, and I was like just like cleaning up, and at this point his like whole jacket is soaked in blood, just dripping down. And we don't even know like where the blood is coming from because he's screaming, so it's like all in his mouth. It could be his nose, or like it could be his like teeth, we don't know. And so I'm like wiping up this blood and shoving these dirty tissues like back into my backpack, and it's like nothing is helping him calm down. And at this point, I'd been working with that family for like about a month, so I knew them well, but it's still like, especially with a kid that young, I think it takes more time to like build that relationship. So I felt like I was like really, like I was so worried. I was like traumatizing him, like this was gonna be such a traumatic experience to look back on. And I think it was kind of like when you're taking care of kids, it's fun, like you're playing, until something like that happens, and then you're like, oh my god, like this is like they're in my care, like I have their life in my hands right now and I'm supposed to keep them safe. So I felt so like guilty that this had happened. And he was just like relentlessly screaming. I didn't even know what to do. I was like, do we just go home right now? Do we need to go like to a doctor, or do we just keep going to school and then like see what they do? And I think as someone who like didn't have that much experience working with kids before, I was overly concerned, especially, but because all the other moms around were like, oh no, like it's fine. They were like, we'll just clean him up. So they were like, keep going, we're just gonna go to school and they'll take him, and they'll take care of him. And I was like, okay. So I picked him up, and like still he's screaming in my ear, like blood dripping all down me too. And we finally make it to the door, and we're just like open the door, and the teacher's like, oh, like, what happened? And we're like, oh, we had a little accident. And then she's like, oh, it's okay. We'll clean him up. And she takes him in. And kind of like it's no big deal or anything, whereas like I'm like literally shaking, I'm freaking out. But just like that, like he enters with his blood-soaked coat and the door closes and he goes away. And then one mom like came over and she was like, you know, it's okay. And she was trying to like calm me down. And she was like, okay, wait, I need to like wipe you up. So she took another wipe and started wiping my face because that was also covered in blood from like holding him. And I started like crying and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. And she was just kind of saying like all the things I think I needed to hear in that moment. She was like, he's okay, I promise, like it's not your fault. And she just looked in my eyes and she was like, you're doing great, and then gave me a hug.